This is the Talent, Sales, and Scale Show.
Well, how about maybe a suggestion that you have in around whether it's hiring for this type of talent or scaling their abilities up to make the next round? Any particular piece of advice that you want to give?
We could sit here for an hour at least and talk about one specific thing on scaling people into that management role, if that's something you're interested in. But I want to be a little bit more helpful to probably current SDR managers and senior leaders, and probably talk a little bit more about like the hiring side.
Sure.
This is something that's, especially hiring people, like this is terrible. Everybody's going to hate that I say this, but it's the reality of everything. The most common interview question I get from SDRs is, what are the qualities that you think make a good SDR? And I always tell them, you know what? I get this question in every interview, and I'll tell you, it's actually a lot simpler than people think. You either want to do the job or you don't. It is that simple. Because think about this, right? How can you determine if someone is brave if they haven't faced a fearful situation and came out on the other side of it better? Mm-hmm. How can you tell if someone's creative if they've never created something that made sense? If you've never written a song, or you've never written your own sales email, or you've never, sung a chorus, or I don't know, anything, created anything in your life, you are not a creative person, right? Even if it's not that great, if you've never created anything, you're not a creative person. But if you create a lot, then you can be a creative person, right? So there's all these like grit. Grit is another one. Everybody loves it because there's a big old book about grit, and we all want to say we have grit. You have grit, but give me an example of what grit looks like in your life. Give me an example of a time when you did that. Because if you haven't gone through a situation where you had to experience grit and like perform that quality, then you don't have grit. I'll tell you that, right? It's why I love working with companies like us in technology, because they source talent from underrepresented backgrounds. And you want to talk about people that have fought through some adversity and have grit and tenacity and perseverance. There's your candidates. You know what I mean? These are the people that, you're going to tell me I'm going to get 20 no's on cold calls all day long before I get one yes. That's fine, because I've experienced XYZ situation that was way worse in the past. Nothing stacks up to something that I've experienced in my life as an underrepresented individual. And so, everybody says, like, what qualities do you need to have? The core qualities, you just need to want to do the job. Because guess what? If I want to do the job and I want to do it well, when I get told no 20 times in one day, I don't go piss and moan about it to my friends and family and then get on TikTok and sit on the couch in the middle of the day and just, slack off of my job. I take it serious and I go, what am I doing wrong that nobody's listening to me past my value statement? What am I doing wrong that I can't get people to uncover? I can't uncover one initial challenge for someone in a cold call. I'm going to go talk to the top AE. I'm going to go talk to the top SDR. I'm going to schedule more one-on-one time with my SDR manager. I'm going to go access some resources from the great YouTube university if I'm not a part of something like Pavilion. And I'm going to figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I want to do the job and I want to do it well. Yeah. And by doing that, now you're building grit, you're building perseverance, you're building, some form of professional development and self-seeking. You're asking for feedback. You're being open-minded. You're being a self-starter. You're being self-aware. You're being self-sufficient. There's so many qualities that you're building upon. But it all boils down to, do you want to do the job or not? Because then the person that goes, well, I'm getting paid salary, and at some point my numbers just have to go up. I'll just do more activity. You're not really doing anything for yourself. You're not really experiencing those qualities, right? So it's really just, does the person want to do the job? And that's a hard thing sometimes to scope in interviews. Sometimes it's not. There are things you can do. We can talk about that for days. But ultimately, sometimes hiring is a crapshoot. And you have to go with your gut feeling. You have to be okay taking chances on people as well. There's someone 2 years ago when I was interviewing, I wouldn't have hired this person. And I even made a recommendation not to hire that person. That person is one of my closest friends now, and someone that's doing very well, has gone through the SDR to AE path, on the path to either management or senior account executive. And the first time I did a role play with this gentleman, I was like, yeah, the sales is the moon to him. I wouldn't hire him. Against my better judgment, somebody overruled my opinion, and we hired him, and now he's doing great, and that was in a past life. But hiring is kind of a crapshoot, but you just have to set the expectation that the job is tough, and you need to be someone who's going to want to do the job.
Exactly. And, look back at episode 96, Dave Curlin and I, we did one on objective management group, how to assess, make sure that you have that 92% accuracy rate as to whether or not that person should do it, or if they're not recommended, you have a 75% likelihood that they're going to be gone in 6 months if you hire them nevertheless. So Chet got lucky on that one. So don't go in luck. It's an expensive mistake.